reports saying a big lie, that our relation is not good, that we don't communicate, that we don't agree with his position and his involvement in the dynamic of the team. So be objective and say what we all know. In the last couple of matches, he didn't play well, period. End of story. Now it's my problem and Paul's to improve his performance level. You don't need to be a liar. Jose Mourinho then pulling no punches in response to journalists and their reports. So let's welcome in Gab Marcotti to the show. Gab, who's right on this?
Well, so first of all, Mourinho's right. He's played very poorly. Pogba has in the last couple of matches. There were essentially two reports suggesting tension there. One was from a French newspaper, L'Equipe, suggesting that Pogba may be regretting returning to United. I don't know. Maybe they have their own sources. I certainly wasn't able to confirm that. The other one is from a source that historically has been pretty close to Jose Mourinho and his camp. So it seems slightly counterintuitive to me. What was interesting as well, though, in that interview, a lot of people have been chastising United, suggesting that Pogba really struggles playing in a two in front of the back four. And Mourinho went out of his way to say that you guys are all silly, watch the match. It wasn't a two in front of the back four. It wasn't Pogba and Matic in front of the back four. It was actually a three-man midfield, and it was Pogba left of the three and Lingard right of the three. I thought that was interesting because effectively he's saying this is Pogba's position, and this is where a lot of people have said he should be playing.
Craig, you were quite scathing of Pogba on Monday's show, talking about the fact that he's come here and it's almost like we should be bowing at his feet that he's in the Premier League. I don't see this ending particularly well between these two.
No, and that's why I think going back to Monday, I said on the show that I wouldn't be surprised if Mourinho was looking for an out via Ed Woodward and agents for this guy, because they could still get big money for him, really big money for him. And then they would look to replace and move on and replenish. Mourinho signed a new contract. Okay, it's not a hugely long contract, but he has signed a new contract. And clearly, if he feels he's not going to win the battle in terms of getting the guy to play well, he's going to have to get him out. But it's up to the player. If the player thinks he's made a mistake in moving to Manchester, then he better make a move quickly to get out, because he's not doing anybody any favours at the moment.
Shaq, I know you're well rested, but before I come to you on this, Gab, I just want to ask about Real Madrid and this link. Is there any possibility that he could go to Madrid in the summer?
I mean, look, Pogba remains, because of his age profile, because of his skill set, he's going to remain a massive commodity, and people all over the world are going to want him if Manchester United put him up for sale and decide they want to get rid. Real Madrid were linked with him before. Obviously, he chose United over Real Madrid. Then Real Madrid came and said, well, we didn't really want him anyway. Fair enough. But if there is a move, Real Madrid could obviously afford him. But again, I don't actually see this one ending badly. I think it's in Mourinho's interest and it's in Pogba's interest for the two of them to work together. And frankly, these stories about tension, I think what Pogba doesn't want to do, he doesn't want to get scapegoated. And I think the media in some ways maybe were doing that. Maybe Mourinho felt he was sticking up for him. I don't know, but I think these two men are intelligent enough to go and work it out between now and the summer. This is Paul Pogba you're talking about. This isn't Henrik Mkhitaryan, who cost half as much and is older and whatever else. This is Pogba. They're going to make it work, I think.
Just briefly, there's a way out of Paul Pogba getting, as Gab pointed, scapegoating. There's a way out of it getting scapegoated for him. It's pure and simple. It's produce on the field. No matter what his teammates do, no matter if Man United are successful or how successful they are, if he produces on the field, right, he can't be that scapegoat. It's impossible.
The thing for me is, I think Mourinho has constantly and consistently played Pogba out of position. Earlier in the season, he played him higher up, closer to the strikers, and he saw the best out of Paul Pogba. But then, I thought he was poorly utilised all of last season. And now this kind of regression and put him in front of your back four.
He wasn't shy. He's not in front of the back.
Listen, he's not playing anywhere near to where as advanced as he was when he played Juventus.
That's his fault.
That's his fault that he's not playing.
You played Newcastle, your old team at home, one of the worst teams in the Premier League. United have dominating possession. There's no need for Paul Pogba to sit in front of the back four. He just didn't he didn't involve himself or he didn't make a statement in the game enough.
You see Mourinho, his teams, and how he handles players. Players have a role and are expected to stick to those roles pretty strictly. You don't go making your own mind up. If Paul Pogba is playing deep, it's because Jose Mourinho told him to play deep. If you're not getting the best out of Paul Pogba, then that's on Jose Mourinho yet again. For what it's worth, I don't think Paul Pogba is going anywhere. I think he's going to be there for the long term. There's nothing about Paul Pogba that says to me that he's not up for winning back the trust of Jose Mourinho or playing his way into good form. Also, if from a Manchester United perspective, outside of David De Gea, Paul Pogba, I know he's not playing like it right now, is your brightest talent. If you do want to rediscover that old form, get yourself back to where you believe you should be, you don't do that by selling the likes of Paul Pogba. There are a lot of other names that come well ahead of Paul Pogba on the list in terms of getting rid and bringing in brighter and better talent.
But if you're not playing well enough and it's affecting you and it's in the media every week because you're the big name and you're the big manager and you're the big club, then something has to be done about it. Paul Pogba's got it all. For the modern player, well over 6 foot, athletic, quick, strong, powerful, talented, clever guy, markets himself well, can do everything. It is up to him. It is up to him to prove everybody wrong that he's back in the Premier League, back at a really big club in England to make a mark. Some are saying also it's not just a Mourinho, not just a Mourinho thing, that his nose is out of joint a little bit because Alexis Sanchez has come in, lots of headlines. Oh, and by the way, huge money.
Quickly, Gab.
I just want to say about Pogba is he actually played really well until the Tottenham game, and despite having missed nearly 2 months of the season through injury and through suspension, I think he's 3rd or 4th in the Premier League in terms of assists. The only guys in front of him are De Bruyne and I think Leroy Sané. Both play for Manchester City, scored 1 million goals. He's not having a bad season, or he wasn't until that Tottenham game. We're talking really the last 2-3 weeks where he's had a dip in form.
He's got 3 goals in all competitions, Gab. I don't care how deep he's been. He's by his standards, I'm sorry, for one of the top 5 players in the world apparently. I think there needs to be more than that.